In the popular Turkish TV series The Magnificent Century, the daughter of Sultan Suleiman, Mihrimah Sultan, is shown as a beautiful and intelligent woman, surrounded by many admirers. However, in reality, apart from her official spouse Rustam Pasha, only one person was truly close to her. And this person was not a nobleman at all, but a Spanish prisoner named Pedro de Urdamalas. His path from a galley rower to the Sultan's court physician is a story worthy of its own series. In 1552, the Spanish sailor Pedro found himself in the imperial fleet, sailing from Genoa to Naples. Their ships were ambushed by a Turkish squadron under the command of Kaptan Pasha Sinan Rustam Pasha's brother, Mihrimah Sultan's spouse, off the coast of the Italian islands of Ponza. 7 Spanish galleys were captured, and Pedro was taken prisoner. Like the Spanish poet Cervantes, he initially hated the Turks. But over time, his views changed. In his memoirs, he wrote, "They did not treat us as we treat Muslims, on the contrary, they treated us more humanely. No one was forced to accept Islam, because their religion does not allow this. Rowing on Turkish ships for 4 years was easier than rowing for a year on ours. On our ships, rowing took place all year round, and on theirs, only in the summer. In addition, we were given out crackers in meager quantities, but they had them in abundance, and their quality was much better. And yet, even relatively gentle treatment did not relieve the hard work of rowing on a galley." To avoid the fate of a galley slave, Pedro decided to take a desperate step. He lied that he was a doctor. Although in fact he had neither education nor experience, except for family stories about folk medicine. "I decided to say that I was a doctor. If I failed, the earth would hide my mistakes. In case of death, I could attribute everything to the will of Allah." This is how his second life began. Fortunately for him, there was no real doctor nearby who could expose him. He got access to a medical book, which he carefully studied. Thanks to this, he really began to help the sick on the ship. Impressed, Sinan Pasha took him on his staff as a personal doctor. Having found himself next to the influential brother of Rustam Pasha, Pedro soon gained access to the palace itself. And at a certain point, he was entrusted with treating not one of the simple concubines, but Mihrimah Sultan herself, the daughter of Suleiman the Magnificent. As Pedro later recalled in his notes, the situation was delicate. Rustam Pasha, like many Ottomans, was a jealous husband. He did not allow anyone to approach his wife without first checking the doctor's professionalism. He asked me if I could treat the patient without seeing her. When I insisted on examining her, he sent a request to the Sultana herself. Will she allow herself to be examined by Sinan Pasha's slave? Having received permission, Pedro went to the Sultana's chambers. The woman's head was covered with an embroidered veil, and only one hand was left open to check her pulse. But Pedro insisted. I said, "Give me the other hand, Sultana." The husband objected. "Enough, one is enough." I continued. "Show me your tongue, Sultana." The Sultana apparently wanted to talk to me. She looked angrily at her husband, then stuck her head and hands out from under the veil and with some effort stuck out her tongue. After just 12 days, Mihrimah Sultan recovered. Grateful for the healing, she promised to fulfill any of his wishes. Pedro, without hesitation, asked for freedom, and received it. After his release, Pedro continued to work as a free man. Later, he wrote down all his observations about life in the Ottoman Empire in the book Viaje de Turquía, Journey to Turkey. These are not only medical memoirs, but also a vivid description of the life, customs and even the judicial system of the Ottoman Empire during the time of Suleiman the Magnificent. His view, although Western, was surprisingly objective. The book lay for almost 4 centuries in the library of the University of Madrid before it was accidentally discovered.